Hey, 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 welcome back to Stop It. I'm your host, Emily Erb, and I'm so excited. I have a guest today that I think is going to totally blow your mind. We were just having a little conversation before, and my mind is already blown, and we're like, we need to hit record. So I have Avani Shahlenis. Hopefully, I pronounced that right. She is an intuitive energy healer, relationship and dating coach, and creator of the Soft Rich Woman Mastermind. She helps ambitious, intuitive women break old relationship patterns, reclaim their feminine power, and attract deep love, intimacy, and abundance. Blending energy work, sensuality, and practical relationship tools, Avni guides women to live in alignment with their purpose, pleasure, oh, I like that, and authentic power. So, welcome to the show. I'm so excited you're here, and I want us to just like hop into it. And first, I want you to say hi to my listeners and then share a little bit about you before we like dive into some crazy shit up in here.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah, I'm excited to share the stories in my story too. So my name is Avni Shahlenis. I am originally from India, grew up in India, lived in the US. Now I live in Mexico. I've been living in Mexico for a few years. And yeah, so my journey actually started with my own personal journey, like everybody's journey. Like I did never ever imagine I was going to be a coach, a healer, a sensuality expert. I was like, just get me through life. And I used to work in corporate America in biotech, pharma for about I was in corporate for like, I don't know, 10, 12, I don't even know, years. And side by side, I was doing transformational work. And my personal journey like started because I was just so down in the dumps. Like, what is going on? I had a little thing with the law, and then I was like, I am so messed up. And then I got out of the mess, and then it was romance. And so it started with I was engaged to a guy in 2012, called it off a month before the wedding, and I was like, wait, how is this happening to me? Like, why, how could this happen? Like, it's not even like anybody arranged my marriage. Like in Indian culture, a lot of that happens, and that didn't even happen. So how come this didn't work out? And so 2013 was like dark night of the soul for me, and started going to I was like, we gotta figure this out because I'm a smart woman. How have I not figured this out? And so, yeah, 2014, 15, 16 were like my biggest sort of like diving into all of this. I started actually doing energy work with an energy healer, sound healer. Uh, actually, I first started, I was already doing some transformational work, but it was all very heady. It was not, it was all language based, ontological language based work, but not body, did not include the body. Then I started working with a pleasure coach, a couple, and they kind of got me teaching about that. But then I was like, my heart is still closed because I didn't attract in the person I wanted. So I was doing all of this work side by side, and I hired a dating coach. And I was like, we're doing this. Like, we're going. We're not going. We're
Mhm.
just not stopping. It was all happening at the same time. And in 2016, I ended up meeting my partner, who, my husband, my father of my two kids. I have two kids. I have a almost 5 year old and a 5 month old. So yeah, we're in it. We're
Yeah,
in
you
it.
are. You definitely are.
I'm like, when am I gonna have to go breastfeed next? So we're there, and yeah. So the exhaustion, I get it. If there's moms in your community, I
Hmm.
hear you. And I have to tell you, I've had like literally the best morning ever. Thanks to like my husband and I have a sensuality practice. We did that last night. Oh, like a fight that could have been a disaster for hours and hours. We could have gone on fighting, like literally resolved in 10 minutes, and we went to bed cuddling. Like,
Can you give us the secret? What?
yeah, well, okay, so that was the part of the sensuality and pleasure work that I
Mhm.
was doing, and I ended up meeting a man. So my desire, which is a cornerstone of my work now, was to meet, literally, it sounded like this in my head. I was like, I want to meet a man who is not a 13-year-old teenager when it comes to sex. Like,
Yep.
can we elevate the game a little bit? I mean, the not knowing what they're doing, like no focus on pleasure, just focus on the goals, right? That's how we've
Mm.
been taught
Yep.
sexuality, sensuality exists. But our practice, the one that we teach, it's a 15-minute orgasm practice. You may have heard about it in other circles, but we do it our way.
No, I've never
Um,
heard of a 15-minute orgasm. Wait, does that mean that you're orgasming for 15 straight minutes or you get one in 15 minutes? What does that mean?
you could be orgasming for 15 straight minutes. So oh my God, that's a whole master
Oh my
class in
gosh.
itself. Well, we as humans actually, there's a book too that I thought 15 minutes, right? And then I read this book and she talks about how she orgasm for an hour. And I'm like,
What?
all right, yeah. So that's what I'm saying. Like, we have such a limited view in life of what is possible, right? Because what
Hmm.
is it? We have 30-second orgasms, 1 minute orgasms, and then we complain about life because we're like wanting more, but like the kind of orgasm where we've been told and shown and taught, mostly through porn, really,
Hmm.
is the kind that leaves you more drained than fills you up,
Oh,
right?
okay.
If you just stop for a second to think about it, it's like, you go up and then you go down. Boom, you're done, right? The one that we're talking about is actually not goal oriented. It's way more pleasure focused, it's sensation focused. Um, yeah, my husband and I, we studied it for years, and honestly, it's been a healing practice. So much of like my upset with men, upset with patriarchy got resolved in some of these practices, right? And so just bringing it back to the point I was making earlier about the body and
Yeah.
practice versus just being in your mind and heady and then like kind of talking it through for years. And I have nothing against
Is
talking
that
or
when
anything
you
like that.
what you mean? Because I want to make sure I'm clear on the same page as you. Like when you separate like mind and body, like the mind, you're doing that like the belief work, like the neuroplasticity work of creating new beliefs in your brain and like letting go of beliefs that aren't serving you. Like that's the mind work. And then you're talking separate to that is the body work.
Yes, and I
Okay.
do both, right? I bring it
Yeah.
all. Sometimes it's not body, sometimes it is mind,
Yeah.
right? And so we can get into that also because I have done coaching. So coaching, energy healing, um, straight energy healing, and not to confuse anybody, but like, the theta healing can help with like releasing beliefs and bringing in new beliefs. So that's the mind part,
Yep.
coaching part. So I include that. I include, and I also do sensuality work where we literally have to release, like sexual
Yeah.
energy is a release tool.
And that's the body, that would be considered body work.
That would be considered body,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
But also, bodies also when you have disease. Like
Hmm.
disease is your body talking, right?
Hmm.
I went in deeper into my health journey and honestly, which also turned more into a personal development journey when I got diagnosed with an autoimmune condition. I got the Hashimoto's diagnosis, and then I was like, wait, what? Like, what is this? What do we do with this, right? And no amount of talk therapy was going to help with that. I mean, it does, it's all
Mhm.
helpful. And no amount of sexual work was going to help with that. It had to be something else. And anyway, so I don't do that in my practice, but yeah, like your body's always talking to you.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, it is. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, just to wrap up the orgasm point,
I
and
know.
then
I'm
we
like,
can move.
I really want to
And
know
then
how
we
you
can
get this
move.
15-minute orgasm.
I know. I should like tell you. We have an episode actually that we recorded on our podcast many, many years ago. Happy to link that
Yes,
episode
please.
somewhere
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Send me the link and ladies, I will put this in the show notes. Yes, 1,000%. I will be listening.
Yeah, and so, we did our practice last night, and we realized, so that's the beauty of this practice, that yes, it is pleasure oriented. Good hormones will start to flow in his body, in my body, in the man's body, in the woman's body. And we saw the misalignment. We were like, huh, like he thought we were finishing. I thought we just got started. And I'm going, what the heck just happened? Right. And and then we talked about, because we're pretty practiced in this at this point. And so we were like, wait, oh, this is our life right now. We are kind of out of sync in this way. Like, I think we're at the peak, you think we're done in literally all of life, right? When it comes to business, because we're also business partners together. When it comes to household stuff, like, we're partners, we're co-parents together, and we're like, oh my goodness. And then we had and usually a conversation like that without the good hormones would be our usual pattern of, like, whatever your usual pattern is. Like, in our case, he's usually defensive, my husband.
Mhm.
I'm usually offensive, like, let's go. What the heck? You
Let's
got to
talk
fix
about
this.
it. Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, like, we have to fix this. Like, why did you do this, right? And like, uh, why are you being defensive, right? Like, I don't know, show of hands if you have had that experience.
Oh,
Not that you
yeah.
can see. Yeah, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but that melted. And that's the thing, is like, this is why I feel like sexual energy is so powerful, because you actually literally can't have good hormones, like happy hormones and stress hormones happening at the same time. You just can't.
Okay.
Right? You just can't. It just literally in the body won't exist. Either you're stressed or you're feeling pleasure. So we were in the pleasure state. His defenses came down like 5 minutes later. He was like, you know what? You're right. We've had this conversation before. Okay, let's cuddle, go to bed. Like, we talked about it, obviously. It took like a few minutes. And he's like, yeah, yeah. And I was like, okay, I don't have to push this anymore, right? And then I woke up this morning and I journaled. And what else did I do? I actually did my stretching, which I hate doing.
Hmm.
And I was like, what happened? I went and had the spacious morning, and it was amazing, right? And so this is the power of the sensuality work,
Okay. So
which is,
that's tied into the sensuality work. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And how would okay, so how would you know that, because this is all new to me, how would I know or someone know if we're not connected to our sensuality as much as we can? Or how, what are signs and symptoms that I would have low energy of my sensuality? Would that be I don't feel like really having sex very often? Would that be a common sign of it?
Yeah, for sure, right? Low libido is one. By the way, you don't have to be in I mean, there's sensuality practices. The one we're talking about is a partnered practice, but you don't
Right.
there's other practices, for, like, in my mastermind Soft Rich Woman today, actually, we're going to have a sensuality coach coming in. She's a guest speaker that teaches in my mastermind, and we're going to be doing sex magic. And that's a
Oh,
solo practice. I know.
oh,
That's like
okay.
manifestation with your sensual energy, right? How do you know that you are not tapping into it? I mean, just think of it this way. Anywhere you're feeling lifeless, okay? Anywhere where life is feeling heavy, it's not supposed to feel heavy. Life is supposed to be joyful. But we have so much programming around. And I was actually journaling on this morning about, oh, if I am enjoying my life, then I am being lazy. This was my programming,
Mm.
right?
You're
Where
not
did it
working
come?
hard enough or you're not hustling enough. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And that's where, like, new moms or moms are like, the heck, I'm working my ass off here. Right? Like,
Hmm.
but for me, I saw this. Okay, so this is where energy and belief work will come in because, I saw my mom having a lot of opinions about my dad being lazy as bad, right? Laziness in general is bad because it's like, oh, you're enjoying yourself too much. You're not a productive member of society. When the truth is, I was actually so much more productive, like when I was empowered, because this morning I was empowered and I like wrote out an actual thing I'm gonna do in my business,
Hmm.
right? Like,
Yeah.
um, so yeah, so some of this programming that comes in around like laziness or whatever, like there's so much that comes through. Sorry, remind me your question. Okay, yeah. So, sorry, you
How
were
do I,
asking.
yeah, with the sensuality, like, how would I know? So, one of them would be like a low libido, like, where I know I have girlfriends and including myself that, like, most of the time, like, I don't feel like having sex unless depending on like part of my cycle where, like, there's like normally like a small window that I'm like, oh, I'm actually kind of horny.
Yes.
And like I'm pursuing it where I would say majority of the time, my husband and I will schedule it. So like Tuesdays and Thursdays are when we do it. And it's normally in the morning. I like don't like to do it at nighttime because I'm normally pretty tired and I'm ready to go to bed and I don't just want to be touched at that time. But I would say like most of the time it's more like I'm doing it part because I want my husband to like have that connection with me and because it's scheduled, but like majority of the time I'm not like, oh, I'm all horned up and like I can't wait to do it. So I
Yeah.
guess would that be probably a sign that my
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and you know what? You're doing a really smart thing, by the way, to schedule it. It's because it's not, especially when age kicks in, and yeah, unless you're a 21-year-old or 20-year-old, like you're horny all the time.
Yeah.
This is like hormonal. But this is where people think that, oh, well, we're done with the honeymoon phase. And a lot of couples that we work with, a lot of women that I work with that are in relationships that are like, oh yeah, well, isn't it normal that sex declines as you're getting into the relationship? I have a woman in my mastermind. She's been married for 33 years and she's literally like every week she comes in with like, I did myself pleasure and my husband and I just did da da da, and we're like, you go girl, like
Yeah.
33 years, let's go, right?
I know. Yeah.
But that's also part of the programming. This is like not real. Like our bodies as women are meant to enjoy. Like that's why enjoyment is actually the, what do you call it? The default. Everything we've been taught is like actually crap. It's not
Yeah.
true. It's
Well,
just
and
lies.
I grew up in like a small town where we like were taught don't have sex. Like, you have to wait till you get married. And like, I feel like because of that, part of it, like I looked at sex as like this taboo thing. And we just didn't really talk a lot about it. My mom, I mean, I love my mom, but like we never had like the sex talk. And I remember asking her, like, I was trying to ask her because I was curious about it. And she's just like, well, whenever you feel right, like, that's it. And like, there was nothing else about it. Like, there was nothing else about like how to pleasure yourself or how to like get pleasured from, your partner. Like I never learned any of that stuff.
Yeah,
And it was never
yeah.
talked about.
Yeah, 1000%. This is the world we live in, right? Because your mom never learned it, you
Hmm.
never learned it, you probably will likely never really teach your kids unless you actually learn it, you
Hmm.
know? And this is what we're doing. We're talking about it. We're practicing. Like today, the call is going to be everybody camera off. Like we're going to be in our own spaces. And this is to teach the practice. And then you make the practice your own. Like
Yeah.
now, I don't need anybody to teach me and my husband. We spent a lot of time, energy, money learning it, and we're like, reaping the benefits of it. But most of the times, this is it. There's all this like Puritan programming, like there's the celibacy programming from like depending on which religion you come from. I grew up in an Indian household and religious beliefs like they just want you to not do it,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah,
It's a
yeah.
very powerful energy. It's a very
Hmm.
powerful energy, and I mean, we can go and that's a whole conversation in itself of like, why did it get shut down to begin with? The point is, we want to awaken it because
Yeah.
that is what is really where creation energy is. Like our wombs are creation spaces.
Hmm.
There's life in it that actually comes from it. And what do? Shut it down with like all kinds of things like birth control or whatever the heck we're told to do. Sorry, birth control is like a whole other topic in itself, and but like there's so much just if we stick to what we hear right from our families. Um, this is why like women are disconnected from their bodies, men are disconnected from their bodies because it's like women are taught things like, well, men are predators, men are, you have to, well, you mentioned the sex talk, right? Because a lot of the times the sex talk that even happens as teenagers is like, well, don't have sex
Right.
and everybody's out to get you,
Hmm.
right? Like be careful, like good touch bad touch, like, all of that, right? Nobody ever talks about pleasure,
Hmm.
right? And so we almost owe it to ourselves today to learn it because we're missing a huge part of being alive as a human in this body
Yeah.
where we have this like so much literally anatomy related to sex and sexual
How,
energy.
so you talked about like awaken, like to awaken your body, right? And I feel like I've been on this journey of uh, like being awoken in a way of, like, but I started with my mind, right? And then I
Mhm.
kind of like also did like my spiritual awakeness as well. But like I never thought in it this way, like with
Yeah.
my sensuality, like I never thought that that could be also awoken as well. And so, for me and my listeners who are probably most likely very new to this like term and this idea, where could be like one step, like a simple, easy step that we could take to start the process of being awoken in our sensuality? I really want to know this. Is there like
Well,
a
I mean,
simple thing?
yeah, well, okay, so this is why I do what I do. So come
Yeah.
join, my world.
Yeah.
And I will share with you a couple opportunities. Obviously, I mean, I do offer complimentary calls to kind of explore what it is that you would like to do. So definitely we can connect. But just even recognizing, I mean, it could be so simple as like in your meditation, if you have a meditation practice, like actually connecting with your womb, connecting with your vagina, like that whole energy, just touching it, like just touching on the outside. I'm not even saying
Yeah.
on the inside,
Uh-huh.
right? And that's how slow it can go. And then this is exactly why, thank you for asking,
Hmm.
Emily. This is exactly why I have my mastermind, Soft Rich Woman, because we don't have, because that's another part of it, because it's so, feels so big.
Yeah.
When you start, it feels so big that it's like, well, what do I do again? So people will start with books. There's definitely books. Um, but this is why I hold a container where I answer questions,
Hmm.
where we mastermind together, where we celebrate. Like literally, I had a text exchange with my private client, where I was like, so did you schedule your self pleasure? She goes, yeah, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I was like, okay, great, today is whatever day it is, Thursday. And I was like, so did you do it?
Hmm.
Like literally we have to be like, did you brush your teeth today?
Yeah.
It's kind of like that.
Is
Yeah,
that where
because
you have a lot of women start there, like start with themselves first to like
yes,
explore their body and to get to know their body? And that would be the start of like awakening that part of themselves?
100%, 100%. See, we women in relationships who have, let's say they have a partner already, they're like, well, it's his job to get me turned on. And it's like, no,
Hmm.
no, like it's your body.
Hmm.
The lack of connection with your body is where he's losing interest, you're losing interest. He also, like men also have to get connected with their healthy sex, right?
Which is
Vouchers on.
interesting because I would have never thought that because I always felt like my husband gets off so quickly. You know, like he can, like you know what I mean? Like he can just
Yeah,
like
yeah,
get ready and go where like it takes me like a minute to, like in my thoughts in my head to like prepare and to get the things going, if that makes sense.
yeah, absolutely, 1000%. Ooh, you asked me for a starting point. let
Yeah.
me let me give you this one. Okay, so yes, this is what you just mentioned is 100% true. Men are more sexual, women are more emotional, at least, and both are emotional, by the way,
Hmm.
but just for men, sex comes first, easy, just biology wise too. I have to kind of think a little bit more about this one, what I just said too, but women need that emotional connection first, and yeah, what did I say? Yeah, to think that women are less sexual than men is a lie. If anybody,
Hmm.
and this we have also, again, part of
Hmm.
programming, we have believed that is like not true. Okay, you said starting point. My husband and I created a card deck um, last year, yeah, where we've put together 40 cards. It's a couples connection card deck. It's called Connexus, Connexus. You can find it
I
on.
can put the link in the show notes too.
Yes.
Hmm.
Okay, perfect. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can find it on Amazon. And in that, we actually have practices, 40 practices, emotional connection practices, self connection practices. They can all be used for self, but also body connection practices. So
Mm.
we actually have a category of practices that will connect you with your body. So that's a great starting point.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So absolutely recommend that. Forgot about that. Like we. How? It's right here on my desk. Um, anyway, so yeah.
I have a question too. So, okay, so it was a couple years ago, and this was like shortly after I had my last kid, and I just wanted to really reconnect more with my husband again because there, especially when I was pregnant and after, I just didn't really have any desire to be intimate. And I was on a girls' trip, and we were talking about vibrators, and I didn't have one, and some of my friends did, and I was curious, and I was like, well, maybe I should buy one. So I bought my first one and then I like started using one and I would like use that while I would also like read some of my naughty books that I was
Hmm.
getting on. And
Yes.
so is that part of it too as well? Like is that kind of part of like the awakening part of your sensuality? And also would that be like some of the meditation as well, like visualizing things?
Visualizations are something that has been traditionally used a lot. Um, but you're kind of fantasizing about somebody else,
Yeah.
right? To me,
Yeah.
that's like I don't know, that just doesn't feel very sacred, right? What feels more sacred is my body. But as for vibrators, like I don't have one, I haven't used one in years because they tend to actually be a little, and the reason is like I stopped using them and then I was doing this course and this guy talked about it and I was like, oh yeah, this makes perfect sense. But they tend to be a little hard on the clitoris, right?
Hmm.
They're good and they do that kind of peak orgasm that we talked about, right? But like a 15-minute orgasm is actually a presence practice. You got to actually
Oh,
be present for that long to actually experience joy for that freaking long amount of time,
yeah. Okay.
right? So that's one of the reasons, people will say like alcohol, yeah, like I can get really turned on when I'm drinking, but then I can't when I'm,
Oh,
right?
I never could. Like, I mean, yes, maybe I would get turned on with alcohol, but I could never get off. Like, I couldn't feel anything. It was like
Right.
numbing down there
Yeah, but like a lot of women will actually say the only way I can orgasm is like if
when
I
they're
break.
drinking.
Yeah,
Oh, that's
right? Because
interesting.
what is happening is your defenses are down,
Yeah.
right? Because what is happening in a lot of it is that we are always thinking and we're in our brain versus in
Yeah.
our bodies. So how you awaken all of that is, I mean, just imagine if you think back to your best sex you've ever had, you were probably the most relaxed,
Yeah. Yep.
right? Most relaxed, like there was no agenda, you were chilling. See, one of the things that happens when you're postpartum is like you're on an alert.
Yes. Yes.
You're on an
And
alert. You
you're
have a
like, did I
new.
hear the baby? Did I hear the baby cry? Like, yes. And then all the things, all the to-do lists, like I do. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's such a great point. Like when I look at myself before kids and how sex was so different then, where we didn't have as much responsibility. Like we still did, but it just changed when you had children. And I remember then thinking like sometimes like why do I have this laundry list of things that I'm thinking about right now when I'm trying to be present with my husband? And that's such a good point. I actually because of part of that when we go upstairs and we're being intimate together, I started putting my sound machine on because if I could hear the kids, I'm like I could my mind went to like what are they doing? Like what's happening? And so I started putting the sound machine on so I could try to like focus more. So is that what you're kind of talking about like being more present so that you can like
Yes,
okay.
absolutely. Yeah, totally. But what becomes difficult is, well, how do you create relaxation when like you're feeding all the time and you're ha ha ha, like, I mean, that shit's real, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not.
yes.
No, like 2 nights ago we went to the fair and my son has been dysregulated. My 5-month-old has been dysregulated from all the lights. He hasn't been sleeping, but he finally fell asleep. We finally, this week in my agenda, I put down we're doing our practice 2 times. And that's why it was like front and center for me to actually do it. We did it and it made the difference, right? So
Hmm.
that's why scheduling is such a good idea. And people are like, oh, well, that's not very organic. And it's like, who cares?
Hmm.
Once you do it, you'll get into it and it'll actually start to get fun and more
Hmm.
relaxed. And the more relaxed you are, the more relaxed you be. And the more relaxed you be, the more relaxed you be. And it kind of sounds a little silly, but it's like, no, that's actually how it works.
I like
Um,
well, and I like that because I feel that sometimes that I would get annoyed if I felt like I was always the one initiating it, right? But when we both have skin in the game where we both scheduled it, like this is, then I'm not like waiting for him to make the move or I'm not getting annoyed because I feel like I'm the one who's always bringing it up, if that makes sense.
yeah, totally. Everything you're telling me is like actually something we covered last month when we did our challenge. It was a 5-day challenge for women in relationships, and then you know, the opportunity obviously of soft rich woman, but it's like we talked about all of this. And this is like these are the complaints that women have. And honestly, there's just not as much talk about solutions of how do we actually do some of this stuff, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Um yeah, so the whole idea is like not just that peak orgasm, but like the relaxation. So just to wrap up the point about, so the thing that I loved about what you shared with your girls trip is that the it was not necessarily the vibrator, it was the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Whatever the conversation is, the more you start thinking about and having that conversation, the more of it you're going to have in your life. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's
Yep.
kind of like, you listen to bad news on the internet and then you're like, oh, this world is a horrible place.
Mm-hmm.
And you can choose to try to keep fixing that problem, or, and I'm not saying there's not time and place for that, but it's like you went on a girls' trip, you were relaxed, somebody was talking about it, and somebody else had something else to say about it. This is why I do the masterminds as opposed to just like one person talking. Like it's
Yep.
not just a training. Like I do trainings in my mastermind, of course, absolutely. Like I'm sharing all this information today. But it's like when we start talking
Yeah.
is
The
when the
community. Mm-hmm.
juice happens,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Um, yeah, and so yeah, so that's how we kind of amp it up, and
Oh, I just heard a little bit your little baby in
I
the background.
oh man. Ah!
Are your boobs leaking yet?
Not quite, not quite, not quite, not quite.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Okay. I did not realize we were going to go down. I mean, we just went balls deep right away, girl. This is how we show it up. All right. Okay, fantastic. So I also want to get into you talked a little bit about some of your stories like with your clients and I was very intrigued by some of those. So would you mind maybe sharing like a story from a client just so we can just kind of see like a picture of who comes to you and some of their transformation that they get from you guys?
Yeah. Well, I'll go back to what you said earlier in our conversation about spiritual growth. So,
Hmm.
by the way, like people think sexuality and spiritual is like that much different. But if you really even are familiar with the chakras, right? There's your seventh, which has got to do with spirit, connecting with the higher spirit. And then there's your body and your first chakra that has everything, second chakra, so everything to do with your emotions and your sensuality. And so we are a full being. Like we're not separate.
Hmm.
Sensuality is not that separate from your personal power and your love and your throat and your seventh layer. And so, that's one of the things that has happened in my work is that I bring it all together. So for some people, it is so women who come to work with me. Actually, I've had men as well, um, and my access. So we can kind of talk a little bit about the energy work. Is my access point to energy work is the sound bowls. I start with the sound healing. You can see my sound bowls, but really you start. It's the heart. It's the love. Like that whole energy. But really, the women who come to work with me, either they're single, they're in relationships, they're wanting, but like we end up having breakthroughs in all of it, right?
Hmm.
In abundance as well, in your spiritual connection as well. Um, I think you know what, Emily. It might be helpful if you kind of want to be my guinea pig or something around that
Yeah.
intuition part.
Yeah, I would love that. I'm so open to this stuff. And when I met your husband at BBD Live, we did a lot of this stuff. Like, it really like changed the way I see things. So I'm totally open to being your guinea pig if you're down for it.
Yeah. You know,
Okay.
I'm also wondering if you want to do a part one, part two of this episode,
Okay.
of
Yeah.
this. I don't know if that's something that, yeah, like,
Yeah.
because I feel like that was what we just talked about sensuality is
Yeah.
like part one, like
Yeah.
one different piece, kind of. Because
Yeah.
you know how you can tell? because we just went on a ride and then we kind of
Hmm.
came down. Did
Yeah.
you notice that? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That, by the way, is also how central energy works, right?
Okay.
Like you can't just keep going up and up and up and up and up. You are going to come down, down, down as well. And then you
Yeah.
start another cycle,
Okay. So is
right?
that what you're saying? Like, should we end this episode here and then we do like a continuation and then they can hear and listen to the next part of it of like the experience that I have with you? Is this what you're throwing out there? Because I'm
That's what I
down
was
if that's what you're saying.
That's what I was thinking, just because I noticed, like, and this is again, kind of hands-on training, if you may, right here, right now, is like, we we have always as humans a capacity level, right? And I noticed, like, I was starting to check out a little bit, you were starting to check out a little bit, and that's when we're in tune with energy,
Hmm.
that's when you know what's really going on, right?
Okay.
Like,
Yes.
if you're noticing, like, it's never like what's happening sometimes with couples is like they're in different energetic states.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm.
their partners are in a different state, you're in a different state, and then it's like, well, oh no, before we know it, sexual energy is like out the door, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So I was just noticing that. I was like, oh God, the baby screaming kind of took me out.
Yeah. I get that. And I just heard my dog bark. So I totally get that. I absolutely do. Okay. So let's go with that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to leave you guys on a little cliffhanger, which I'm totally down for. And I love the suggestion. So, we're going to go with it. And I did tell you in the beginning, like, I kind of really wanted you to lead this episode because this is newer stuff to me. And I just kind of was trusting you to see where we kind of went with it. So, we're going to end it here for today. And then we're going to pick it up and we will just stay tuned to our next session. And so, before we end though today, I would love for you to share where could people find you, and then any of the like your handles, your Instagram handles, and things like that. I'll put all the links in the show notes for everyone that they can easily find you. But if you could just maybe share that, and if do you guys still have your podcast going on as well?
Yeah, we no, we don't. We
Okay.
actually we're kind of recovering it, and anyway, so I will try to find a link for you for
Okay.
that. And but yeah, what I can tell you, I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. I'll give you that. But the thing that I have that I wanted to share that's coming up is I have, so like I said, I work with single women. I work with women who are in relationships, and I'm having an event coming up. It's a 5-day free event for women, but we're going to go into all for single women, divorced women trying to find their love. Um, so that's one part of who I help. I also do the energy work, so you will get a flavor of the energy work, and it is open to whoever. I mean, if you're already in a relationship but you're finding yourself intrigued and you're like, what is this woman talking about? Like, I want to know more. Come on in. This event is called Magnetic Presence. And magnetic presence, you get to be a magnetic presence. Your being and your frequency actually attracts the things that we want.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole idea that we've been talking about, like, how do you actually attract what you really want, is versus what your default attracting, which is coming from all the programming and what everybody
Mm-hmm.
said to you in the past as a kid, like that, or you heard it on the news, or you heard it growing up, that running your life versus you, who you are at the core, like running your life. Like, so that's what we're going to be doing. The focus will be to attract in the one, and so, that, but really it comes down to healing relationships with men, healing relationships with women, which is the world and
Mm-hmm.
people in general,
Mm-hmm.
right? And comes also with healing relationships with your family, mother, father, brother, sister, like that. And that's actually all for episode 2, I think, part 2. We can go into that. But yeah, 5-day event that's happening. It's free. and I'll give you the link for
Yep.
it, and we're just going to go into how to be the frequency that you want to attract in when it comes to romance.
I love that. I love that so much. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. And I can't wait for you guys to stay tuned for our next one. And yeah, go check out. I'll put all the links in. And if you're interested with their what is it called again? I'm sorry, the 5 day
Content.
challenge.
Yeah, the 5 day challenge. Yes.
Yes, the 5 day
Yeah.
challenge. Yep. And that will all be in there. And I might be checking that out myself. I can't wait to learn some more. You definitely
Yeah.
have my interest, definitely intrigued. So thank you so much for having or for being on the show. And thanks, guys, so much. I hope you guys have a fantastic week. And remember, life is always happening for you. And I'll see you next week. Bye.